Welcome to Sundays with Sandy, a new segment on Last First Date Radio where we believe it is never too late to go on your last first date. I'm your host, Sandy Weiner. I'm a dating and relationship coach, a communications and boundaries expert, and I want you to go on your last first date. Do you believe that if somebody cheats once, they are always going to be a cheater? There are people who cheat once and they don't cheat again. And there are chronic cheaters. And how can you tell the difference? And when should you give a cheater a second chance? First, let's define what is a chronic cheater. Typically, these are people who are in committed monogamous relationships who are continually seeking romantic and/or sexual relationships outside of their relationship. They rarely feel guilty or remorseful about the cheating because they justify it. I was bored, I was unhappy, so it's okay that I cheated. Let's talk about 7 red flags of a chronic cheater. Number 1, narcissistic tendencies. These are people who are self-centered. They show little empathy towards other people, and they seek attention from other people. They don't feel guilty or shame after cheating because they feel that their needs are not met by their partner, so it's okay. Number 2, they have a history of cheating. They've cheated in the past. They talk about it openly, often without feeling bad. They might also make excuses for cheating in the past and tell you they would never cheat on you. Number 3, excessively flirty behavior. They tend to flirt with other people right in front of you, even though you've told them how uncomfortable it makes you feel. There's a difference between just being playful and flirty with people in general and overt flirting, which is sexual in nature. Number 4, they are overly defensive. They get offended if you question them about their flirty behavior or their cheating. They tend to exhibit gaslighting and defensiveness, especially if you accuse them of cheating. Number 5, they speak negatively of their exes. They label their exes as crazy. They don't take any responsibility for why a relationship ended. It's all they're the victim. The other person was crazy, insane, and lots of negative talk. Number 6, they don't accept responsibility for cheating. It's always the other person's fault. They have done nothing wrong. And number 7, they constantly need external validation. They're actually extremely insecure, and that leads to seeking external validation to build up their self-worth. So if you see these 7 signs, or most of these 7 signs, those are chronic cheaters, and those are people to beware of. How do you know when to break up and when to work on the relationship? It's hard to trust after somebody cheats, but there are some things to consider before breaking up with a cheater. Number 1, does your partner feel remorseful and want to change? Number 2, are they willing to go to therapy and change? Not just want to change, but actually change. And number 3, have you set new agreements and are transparent in your communication in the relationship? You have to be transparent in your communication for it to work. You have to be able to ask questions, get real answers, not be defensive, but you have every right to ask questions about their behavior. And number 4, have you set healthy boundaries in the relationship moving forward? This is really important. So if you want a relationship to work and somebody has cheated on you in the past, you have a right to ask them any question you want, and you have a right to not trust until trust is rebuilt. If there is no admission of guilt or willingness to change, chronic cheaters are going to continue to cheat when they're in a monogamous relationship. But there are people who have cheated in the past and don't in the future. So look for those red flags of chronic cheaters that I mentioned. And if you're not sure if you can repair the relationship, follow the steps that I talked about to know whether the person is actually changing. Just remember, cheating doesn't always signify the end of a relationship. But both of you have to be willing to do the work to rebuild what was fractured. If you are ready to get unstuck, gain new tools, become more empowered, and finally find your last first date, I'd love to talk to you. Fill out an application to be considered for a complimentary half-hour love breakthrough session at lastfirstdate.com/application. That's lastfirstdate.com/application. I look forward to talking to you soon.